yes or no, uh, black or white type of answer, I'm gonna say no. You're not having. I remember when your husband came in, he had like severe low back issue and like it was like compressed all over the place, and we just couldn't do much for like And I made him do all these funky exercises, which you probably remember. So like for him, that was like a yes. For you, absolutely not. But what I'm finding is that you're having some issues go on into the pelvic region. So you're losing a little bit of hip extension. If I had to be a little bit over exaggerated, you're not like really powering off. You're kind of doing a little bit more of like a circumduction of that leg, meaning we're kind of like circling it instead of going through the zone. Well, why would somebody want to do that, right? We think about human movement. It's really simplicity of like movement, right? Somebody who has some movement and can't go forward with pure power, what they're going to do is naturally come around. You're losing a little bit of that power into the lower back, into here, and you're not driving extension because I think you're having issues here. Now, a lot of people would say, well, then why would somebody on the inside have pain here, on the inside of the groin area, and the adductor area? Why would they have pain? How would this affect that, right? Well, because this is a major stabilizing structure to go like this. So remember when we did this? If your pelvis can't do this, well, it's first of all, it can't stabilize. Second of all, from this extended position, from this position, the next movement of the adductors is to help propel the leg to go forward into this position. So when you go extend, it stretches this area and probably cause a little bit more irritation as we picked up the pace a little bit. So I bet you if you were in a store or if I told you to hike a mountain or a path, even if it was flat, but I said, hey, let's do this path at 5% of your versus 10% versus 50% versus like, hey, let's really pick up the pace, you'd probably feel it faster because you'd be powering off of here. Typically, what we see in this area is the obturator nerve. That's why I asked you, is it more here or is it more here? The obturator nerve is a nerve that's inside there. Whoop. This is going to be the femoral, but so let's. But the obturator is a deeper nerve structure there. Whoop. That supplies that. So sometimes when these muscles are balled up and having some issues, what can happen is it may cause a little irritation or numbness and tingling down that area. I think you just have a little bit of irritation to that nerve from maybe the joints getting stuck a little bit. I did a neural tension test. Remember, I did going up, going to the side, went across this way, and then I went out like this. What that does, that opens up the thigh, and it actually pulls the nerve. Ooh. It pulls the nerve going down on that end, and that side, and that's why really opening you up like this really felt like a little upsetting and irritating, and then I had you contract, and so like those muscles around that nerve are a little irritated. So I personally think that if I had one thing and one thing only to do, I would work that nerve out. That will help the stability of that back pain. That doesn't mean the back pain isn't associated with it. I just think that is part of the cause. We can't work just one without the other, though. So I really think that this is a bigger issue right now in terms of this is like the big thing. So we as we can see is how did that nerve get back? I try to get rid of it. So let me just try to get rid of these nerves. Sorry. Okay. So really we could see the adductor magnus, which is a deep muscle. We could see the adductor longus, and then we could see the gracilis, so which is part of the hamstrings back here too. That's why a lot of times you feel it like deep under here. It's almost like it's like not under your glute and your butt. And you're not like right on the side. You're like kind of inside there. So that's where that nerve is. It's deep in there. So I will tell you it's not comfortable, but it shouldn't be super painful to get into there. But I think that was the numbness and tingling that you were feeling. That's why I was also. You don't usually see this
Does that
cross
one
the
go
nerve.
down to the toes, or is that just like?
No, it usually stops like right on here.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of.
Like right to the top of the knee here.
Yeah, that's where.
So, and that's why I was being very linear with you.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, is it this? No, same thing does.
Yeah, it wouldn't be over here.
Same thing. The femoral nerve does the same thing, but more in the front. But your testing of what I did to you was the same. She's grabbed my book. Thank you. There's nothing in there, unfortunately. I don't have anything or lollipops or anything. But this. So I really do think it's the obturator nerve, which innervates the adductors on the inside. Your walking looked pretty good overall, considering this, and so I bet you if I evaluated you like 3 days ago when it was really at its prime, you'd probably be more like this, more of that. And so the number one goal is to take pressure off of that nerve and that structure so that you can have more power. And then because when you stand on one leg, a lot of people think it's just like hamstrings and glutes and quads. They forget that there's an inside that does this and locks this whole thing together. So if you don't have that and you're kind of doing this, you're using more of this back there. So, any questions for me?
No.
So I really think that